What's crackling, everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list, where each episode we take a cereal, put it on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host Tucker. In this episode, we're gonna continue on with Great Grains and try Raisin Cluster Crunch. Now, last episode we did our first Great Grains cereal, which was the Crunchy Pecan. That did end up getting a D, but it was more because I thought the base was good, but there just was a bit lacking in the overall taste. So I expect a Great Grains to eventually get higher, but this one being a raisin one, I don't think will be it because we have done, 4 raisin brands, and all of those have been E. So that doesn't look great for this, but hey, you know what? I'm gonna try to go in with an open mind. So let's open it up, see what this is like. Again, feels like very dense box compared to a lot of cereals we've done previously. That did not open well. Yeah, whoops. Yep. Not great there. Okay. Solid bowl. Smells okay. I was gonna say it smells like cinnamon. There's cinnamon. So that'll be good, hopefully. And like the other Great Grain, it has a breakdown of the main components here. And the only real difference is instead of the pecans, it's raisins, and then now there's a bit of cinnamon. So hopefully, if nothing else, that cinnamon shows the potential for the Great Grains flavors. Might have been a bit much. Okay. Okay, got a raisin in there. Okay, so like the other Great Grain, got a pretty good crunch going on in the beginning. I like that sort of the clusters and flake stuff, that's going pretty well. The cinnamon's not super strong, but having it in there is an improvement over the just sort of grain flavor of the last one. But raisins are still weird because the cereal is kind of chewy, well, not chewy, you have to chew a lot, but then the raisin is actually chewy, so it's still kind of weird and not a texture I'm super into with my cereal. Thus far, it seems the raisins are a bit less present than in Raisin Bran, so that's been nice for me. Every bite I have, that's just the flakes and clusters with a bit of cinnamon, kind of into that. That's a very decent time. But then I get a bite with the raisin, I'm like, oh yeah, this is here. And I think the taste doesn't stand out as much as it did in basic Raisin Bran, especially when there was nothing else in the flavor there. It's a bit more sort of mixed in with everything going on in the cinnamon and stuff. So it is, I think, better than the Raisin Brands, but I still kind of wish it was just switch the raisins back to the pecans and keep this bit of cinnamon. I'd enjoy that cereal. This is just sort of like a step forward for Great Grain, but then I just had to throw the raisins in there and ruin it for me. I don't get it. Like Great Grain's Crunchy Pecan, these do get pretty sagified, but unlike those, there's no pecan in here, so you don't have that bit of crunch still, even towards the end. Instead, you have the raisins, which, again, chewy, so that's kind of weird and another thing not really vibing with this. So I think in that aspect, Crunchy Pecan is better, but again, cinnamon It's a good taste here. So pros and cons with these great grains so far. I'm reaching the end of the bowl, so now it's time to try out some of the milk, see if we got some grain flavor, some cinnamon flavor, some raisin flavor. Who knows? It's a little darkened, so that could be anything. Okay, mostly the cinnamon. Though again, lots of tiny grain pieces kind of seeping in there. Yeah, mainly the cinnamon, and it's again sort of a mild cinnamon. So enjoying that. That's pretty good. Not getting much of a raisin flavor, so I'm into that. Yeah, just kind of like slightly sweetened cinnamon milk. So done with that. For being something with raisins in it, I think I actually enjoyed this a bit more than I thought I would. So obviously the two main things I'm comparing this to are 1, Great Grains Crunchy Pecan, 2, the 4 raisin brands we've done. Compared to Great Grains Crunchy Pecan, I'd say gets a plus for having that cinnamon flavor, minus because you don't get as much crunch at the end because there's no nut, and minus because raisin chewiness, bit of taste in there, not super into that. Compared to the raisin brands, we're going to do plus because less raisins, seemingly. That's a good thing. I like the sort of cinnamon and cluster taste going on. Plus there. Yeah, plus plus. Is there anything I liked about raisin brand more than this? Like I like the banana slices and the raisin brand banana, but that's such a distinctly different thing. I don't know if that counts. So I think overall would put this above Raisin Bran, but wouldn't quite put it over Great Grains Crunchy Pecan. So what I'm going to do is give Great Grains Raisin Cluster Crunch a D. Same rank as the Crunchy Pecan Great Grains, but I think overall I would give it to the Crunchy Pecan just because, again, not feeling the raisins, got a bit more crunch there, all that stuff. I've said it already, but I think it is a step above Raisin Bran enough. Mostly, I think, because the less raisins in there, that I feel okay putting it at a D. If it had the same amount of like raisin ratio that the Raisin Brands have, it probably would have got an E. So maybe I just got a lucky bowl, and this is gonna, as I go into the rest of it, be more of an E. But I think from this bowl I had, the cluster and flake and the cinnamon worked well enough that the Raisin Bran, or the raisins, didn't quite bring it to Raisin Bran level. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've tried Great Grains Raisin Cluster Crunch. If you're a big fan of it, let me know about that. If you think this is way weaker than Raisin Bran and you want to try to defend those, you can do that in the comments as well. Or if you're someone who struggles to say the phrase Great Grains Raisin Cluster Crunch, you can let me know about that, because there were a few times where I did struggle to say that this episode. But until next time, stay delicious.